Today I'm working on a Shindaiwa 360, one of my favorite little Shindaiwa chainsaws. This one is in extremely rough shape. It's been sitting for a very long time. It doesn't start, of course. I have no idea what's wrong with it. I'll take you through the process of diagnosing and repairing it. Give you a few close-ups of the condition of this saw. Let's see if it even pulls over. It's got great compression. Fuel tank is completely dry. That's a good sign. Oh, that fuel hose is just crispy. I'm going to leave that untouched for now. It's not broken and will allow fuel to be drawn to the carburetor. I'll leave it because that'll be good enough for testing. This should have a screen dome style air filter that goes over it and fits against this ridge right here. So that is missing, but it doesn't look like it was run that way, or at least not for very long, because the choke entrance to the carburetor is still clean. Good signs so far. Let's see what it was last running like. Oh, brand new spark plug. I'll see if I can show you the inside of it. On the exhaust side, it looks really good. I don't see anything that would indicate any sort of seizure. Well, how nice is that? Let's bring it back to where the rings are at and see what that looks like. Even that looks good. Doesn't even look like there was any blow-by from the rings either being worn or having been overheated and lost their tension. Let's do a compression test. Never a good idea to put any penetrant or lubrication in the cylinder before you do a compression test, because you always want to do a dry compression test first. But I hate to really pull over one of these engines when I know it's been sitting for a very long time. So I put a little bit of Croil in through the exhaust port and down through the spark plug opening and in through the carburetor throttle. So let's just listen to how it sounds. Really promising. And the compression test shows 165 pounds. That is fantastic. Let's check spark. Beautiful. I managed to find the correct muffler for this saw. What was stuck in it is for something else. So that was a nice little gift. And also the screen air filter with its mounting screw. So that's great. All the parts are here for this saw. You can always tell when it's good old school Shindaiwa equipment because they were still writing their name as two separate words, the Shin-Daiwa company. Well, let's put a little shot of Tri-Flow in it. Tri-Flow makes excellent starting fluid. We'll hold the throttle open and go right into the cylinder. Pop the spark plug back in. And let's see how it runs. All it will do is fire up for a minute and smoke a lot. Ignition switch up for on. I will close the choke just a little bit. Nice. Let's take a look at that carburetor. 4 little Allen screws releases this top cover, and that gives us enough room to get the carburetor out. The choke is hooked in and just setting in place, and that top cover secures it. So now there's just the throttle rod over here and the fuel hose. See if we can get the fuel hose off. There we go. And then the throttle rod just comes right out along with the carburetor and can be unhooked. This uses a rubber boot from the cylinder, has the air intake duct and a little ring here to support it, similar to how steel builds their saws. This is a Walbro carburetor, probably a WT series. We'll find out in a moment. This will give us access to the fuel pump section of the carburetor. Ooh, dry and crispy. Absolutely a potato chip. But spotless inside and no rust in the screen. So that's a great sign. On the diaphragm side, where there should be an atmospheric vent, you can see that that is completely clogged. That'll keep them from running correctly, and if this kind of debris gets inside this cap, it'll push down on the metering diaphragm and cause the saw to continually flood, and it'll leak fuel through the carburetor when it's turned off. And that little hole is packed solid. That would have made it run pretty bad. Just oily muck. And of course, another potato chip. But perfectly clean inside. There's a lot of runtime on this saw when you see the metering lever have that wear mark so deep in it. That is a lot of hours of runtime. But the needle still works fine, spring still works fine. It's a good sign. This can probably be rebuilt. Parts have been ordered. In the meantime, I thought it would be fun to play a little game of rejuvenate the crispy rubber components. Sometimes you can get away with boiling these in water, and it will return them back to flexibility, as you see here. It doesn't always work, especially the really crisp ones, but sometimes you get lucky. So, these are both pretty nice. Flaps are still a little bit stiff, but they might still move back and forth. Certainly good enough for a little test run, I think. So let's put the carburetor back together and see what happens. Flour always goes down, and because we've got some wear here, I'm going to lift this just a tiny bit. I don't want to go too much. The atmospheric vent should always face downhill towards the engine so it doesn't get a bunch of crud in it, so we will position it there, knowing that this is the choke and this is the throttle, so that'll face the engine. These usually have these little tabs, so you can stack the tabs on each other and know that your alignment is correct. And there are some dowels that will line up and allow the whole thing to set in position nicely. So we'll confirm that those are correct and that we're not loading anything by releasing the throttle lever from this idle stop screw. And our seams are all good all the way around. That way we know we're not pinching the diaphragm, gasket, or the pump flap. Alright, I'll pop this on and give it a test run. Okay, it's back together with the air filter in place. Let's see if it'll run just for grins. So choke out, ignition, switch up for on. Oh! Let's put the choke in. Something's stuck. Okay, let's try it again. This might be a throttle holder. That bogging right off of idle and the inability to go to full throttle means it's too lean at idle. So I will turn that screw out another half turn and turn this idle screw out to lower the RPM, and we'll give it another test. So let's see what it does now. I'll leave the choke in. That little dip down indicates it's a little too rich at idle. So we'll turn it in a quarter turn, so that's a little bit less fuel at a low RPM, and see how it likes that. Still a little bit on the rich side. We'll go another quarter turn. Wow, it likes that. We can hear the RPM come up a little bit. There we go. Let's try a restart. Let's try a restart by turning on the ignition switch. Alright, let's try it all again with the air filter on it and with this cover. I don't want airflow blowing out of here and not going across the cylinder. I don't want to overheat it by running it too much like this. Here's what the factory air filter looks like. Metal screen with it all back together. Ignition on, choke in. Let's see how it starts. Let's check the idle on both sides of the crankshaft to see if the crankshaft seals are any good. And we'll check the response off of idle. Settles right back down to idle nicely. nice little saw. Neat to see something like this come back to life again. I've ordered a carburetor kit for it and new rubber bushings because some of them are wiped out, along with the gasket for the oil tank and for the fuel tank caps. So it'll stop leaking there. And a fuel hose. It'll get cleaned up and it'll be ready to go back into service. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you out.